Welcome to the Diplomatic Couch, a program where we feature ambassadors and heads of missions. These are United Nations missions in Zimbabwe. We also look at the work, the programs that are being implemented both by the embassies and the United Nations missions in Zimbabwe. Now, on the program today, I am joined by His Excellency, the Ambassador of Malawi, Ambassador Mwayiwawo Polepole. Ambassador, yes. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having this opportunity that we can be together and be able to talk about my beloved country. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Excellent, excellent. I can see he's so proud of his country. Yeah. Now, Ambassador, let's begin where it all began. When was Ambassador, in fact it will be when and where was our beloved Ambassador born, and where did he go to school?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. I don't know how to describe it, but I'll say I'm a village boy.
A village boy.
A village boy. I was born in Malawi, to be precise, at a mission hospital.
Mission hospital.
It's called Mvela. It's under the CCAP Church, the Christian Church for Central Africa Presbyterian.
All right.
I did my primary school in Doha. If you happen to come to Malawi and you are going to the lake, you will definitely pass my village.
Your birthplace. Okay.
If you are going to Salima, that is.
Right.
The place is called Chankungu.
Chankungu
Primary School. So I started there, standard 1, not grade. Standard 1, 2 up to standard 8. I went to the University of Malawi, Chancellor College. Okay. I was studying education.
Education.
Yes, education. From there, that's when I started teaching. And barely after maybe 3-4 years, I was also I went to Canada where I did my master's in education, but slightly focusing, which was very strange and interesting, slightly focusing on the family resource management, though I was doing education. Okay. And then I came back and then later on I did a lot of small, certificate, studies, but I also did my PhD in the social entrepreneurship, and I'm also currently studying another one on the strategic management, where I'm looking at why some schools are performing much better than the others in Malawi.
Now, Ambassador, so this is you there, you finished your secondary school, primary, secondary, and then your teacher training college. You then did your master's. Talk to us about your career then after school.
I started teaching, but then the Minister of Education realized that there were few secondary school teachers. And they wanted to come up with a program which was actually speeding up, without going into shortcuts, but rather speeding up the training of secondary school teachers. So they identified one teacher training college, and by that time it was called the Domasi Teacher Training College, which is in Zomba. Zomba is the oldest capital for Malawi. Then I was identified as one of the lecturers to go and change the curriculum at this institution to start training secondary school teachers to a diploma level. I know this word diploma has got different meanings, but in this context is a certificate before you get your first degree.
Okay.
Normally, and it was a 3-year program. So this institution was accredited by the University of Malawi, so we were actually working in hand with the University of Malawi. Actually, I was identified by the university as well to start teaching courses in education at Chancellor College. So I used to work on both fronts. And then I became the country manager, by that time called field manager, for a CEDA project again, which was actually looking at training, the Ministry of Education in terms of procurement, logistics, and also training suppliers. And that made me, train suppliers in South Africa, train suppliers in India, Dubai, and so forth. And thereafter, I also worked with the USAID, and then I became a divisional leader within the USAID. Before I decided that I think I've done enough and let me just quit working and do my personal business.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it never worked because when I was just home for about 2 or 3 months, somebody brought me to say, you know what, there is an opportunity here, and I think this job is yours. And I know people think that you need to be working if you are trained.
Your Excellency, we have to take a short break.
Thank you.
And I'll give you an opportunity to continue. I
All
want
right.
to see where the switch happened from teaching, and we'll then get into how you got into the diplomatic service. Welcome back. Now, when we went for the short break, the ambassador was just chronicling his life, his career, and it's so exciting. Now, let's wrap up on the career, Your Excellency. I want to see the switch to the diplomatic service.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And as I mentioned, that then I got a job with the World Vision.
Okay.
And I was the first educational technical person within the
Malawi.
World Vision globally,
Oh.
but based in Malawi. So at that time, I was only working for World Vision Malawi. But since it is a global organization, I used to get some work from other countries. And my boss, when I asked him, I was like, why am I receiving this from other countries? And he just said, my brother, this is what World Vision is all about. So I only worked 1 year for World Vision Malawi. And then I was taken into the global position as one of the global team. And that's I did quite a lot of work globally, South America, the entire Africa, and even Asia. I was actually doing a lot of strategy development, especially in education, monitoring, evaluation of project. Great
So
honor.
this is your first diplomatic posting.
This is my first diplomatic posting.
Excellent.
And I'm also very grateful to the President of Zimbabwe, Comrade Dr. Emerson Idi Mnangagwa, because he also accepted my credentials and I said, I think I can work here as an ambassador. So that's the switch.
That's the switch.
It's just
excellent. I think I'm excited. You've done so much work, Ambassador, globally, and I like one statement that you said. You can do anything. You said anything is possible for the youths. I think that's something we have to discuss about because a lot of the youths out there who are jobless, and this is not just in Zimbabwe. I think it covers a lot of African countries and other third world countries in other continents. They don't see opportunities. They think life is hard, things are tough, and they're just hopeless. Briefly, Your Excellency, do you want to talk about this? What you said, anything is possible, but they are saying industries are closed, companies are closed. Where do we get work? What is it that they can do?
So there's just a lot of opportunities that we can do. We need to start thinking outside the box.
Outside the box.
And when I'm working with those that, especially I will talk about youth, the activities that we go through, okay? Just to show that anything that you see around can give you money. So we always look into those, like existing industries to get employment and so forth. But I always feel you can create employment.
You can create employment. And I think, Ambassador, this is something that we'll talk about even later on. Now, let's move on to Malawi.
Yes.
Tell us, how is the Malawian economy faring?
Thank you very much. Indeed, Malawi, which is the warm heart of Africa,
Okay.
I would say we are not isolated from the current economic, issues or economic crisis. Malawi is part and parcel of the global economy. But there are other aspects within Malawi that sometimes you sit down and I said we are indeed a blessed country, just like our national anthem. It says a country full of peace and a lot of opportunities. So economically, yes, on the macro level, which is also affecting the macro level, the families and individuals, are coming into a lot of challenges. We cannot avoid to talk about the pandemic. It has also affected the economy. Sure. We can also talk about the current, global war that is going on. It has also affected Malawi. Mm-hmm. But as individuals and small industries within Malawi, it has also provided an opportunity. You remember, as I said,
who can create jobs.
Exactly, and okay. That's it. What is happening? It's like what they say: somebody's challenges are somebody's opportunities.
Sure.
So amidst all these challenges, I think Malawian entrepreneurs are actually coming up with a lot of ideas and activities. Mm-hmm. The beauty is that also the current government, which is led by the President Chakwera, has created a platform which is actually conducive to
for young people,
yes.
for the youth to
Exactly.
do things on their own.
Exactly. And we have the Malawi 2063, which is actually the framework. And okay. You can find it even on internet. And sure. You will see a lot of areas, mining, of course, agriculture is the backbone of our economy. So definitely, that's the current situation.
That's the current situation.
Yes.
So you spoke about Vision 2063. Yes, I read about it.
Oh, thank you.
And quite an exciting long-term vision for the country to follow. Now, you briefly touched on some of the areas that the president is looking to bolster. You spoke about mining, mm-hmm. and of course agriculture being the backbone of the economy. Yeah. I saw 80% of employment is in that sector.
Exactly.
Are there any other economic sectors that are driving economic growth in Malawi, or maybe even forecasted to drive economic growth as we go forward?
Yes, of course. I think you mentioned most of them, but I think I can add on tourism as well.
Excellent.
You might recall that we have one of the longest lake in the Great Rift Valley, Lake Malawi. It's fresh, and it contains more than, I think, 200 species. If you go to Monkey Bay and the way we are standing here, you will see a lot of fish in different colors and different types of them, and it's one of an area for tourist attraction.
Excellent.
And of course, the road network is also under construction at the moment, and that's one of the sector which I thought I could add,
which is also expected
exactly.
to drive growth. Excellent.
Exactly.
Yes, sure. Infrastructure is key for growth. Now, as we wrap up this segment, Your Excellency, are there any opportunities for foreign investors in Malawi? And tied to that, are there any incentives that the government is offering to potential investors that are looking at Malawi?
Thank you so much. Yes, there's quite a lot of that. I can mention that if you want to get more information, please get information from what we call MITC, which is Malawi Investment Trade Center.
Okay.
It is an institution that has been put in place. It's one-stop shop where you can do your registration and everything. That's the way the government has eased the process of registration.
So everything is now happening under one roof.
Exactly.
You're not being moved from one ministry to another.
No.
Okay.
It's actually under the Ministry of Trade.
Okay.
So But depending on the type of business you want to establish in, for example, if you are saying an investor, they have a benchmark of not less than $50 million.
For you to be given a license.
Sorry, 50,000
or 50,000 US dollars.
50,000 US dollars.
Okay.
So then it starts from there going upwards. And there are different opportunities that the government has put in place. There are tax holidays that starts from 5 years to 10 years.
Nice.
You can also, if your investment requires land, the MYTC will be able to help you to facilitate and get land for your processes. However, that land is not transferable from a foreign investor to a foreign investor.
Okay.
So you can say, okay, I am a Zimbabwean and started this business. I want to transfer the title deed to my fellow Zimbabwean. It won't
can't
work.
do that. It
No,
has
you
to be
cannot
to a
do that.
Malawian.
It can't be done.
Only
Malawian.
makes sense. Only makes sense.
So tax waivers, land, and also the issues in terms of capacity building are also provided. Of course, you need to make sure that you follow all the principles. In terms of the actual establishment of the company, it's so easy as well. Once you have your articles of incorporation done, others they call them articles of association are done, and then you have all the necessary IDs. I can assure you within a week, or even with, if your lawyer is in good terms and he knows what they're doing, I can assure in 2-3 days time you can have
all
your
your
company
paperwork,
registered.
So stay tuned. When we return, we now focus on the bilateral and trade relations between Zimbabwe and Malawi. Welcome to the third and final segment of our discussion with the Ambassador of Malawi, His Excellency Dr. Mwayiwawo Polepole. Now, Ambassador, when we went for the break, we were talking about the opportunities in Malawi. Let's now look at bilateral and trade relations between Zimbabwe and Malawi. How are the relations?
Thank you very much. But maybe before I do that, I see my name keeps on changing.
Okay.
I am Mwayiwawo. The way you did at the beginning, yes.
Right.
It has a meaning. Mwai means luck.
Oh, luck.
Yes.
That's why luck followed you everywhere, Your Excellency.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Okay.
So, yes, I need to mention here that the bilateral relationship between Malawi and Zimbabwe dates way back, even before colonialism. I am not sure if you know the story about David Livingstone in Musowatunya and things like that. There were two people, those servants that were working with him. You might wish to know one of them was a Malawian.
Is it?
So you can see the dates way back that the people between Malawi and Zimbabwe have been, working together as brothers and sisters.
True.
So, but I think if formality, I think I might be corrected, but by I think 1953, Malawi had its own, more or less, like to say, an institution here, which you might call an embassy. So we are one of the oldest embassies, and we never went back. All along.
Been with Zimbabwe through and through.
Zimbabwe through and through. And here we are, and I'm not sure whether I can also claim that it is one of the embassies that has got more properties within Zimbabwe, just to show this is home.
This is home.
So the bilateral relations have been, very good all the way. And it pleased both the heads of state, Comrade Edin Nangagwa and Dr. Chakwera, to say, yes, we have been enjoying quite a lot of this, and there are a lot of Zimbabweans in Malawi and a lot of Malawians here in Zimbabwe.
Very true.
But I think we need now to focus on the diplomatic, economic diplomacy.
Relations, yes.
What is it that our people would be saying we are enjoying from this relationship? So that's why myself and my counterpart in Lilongwe, we have been tasked to say, let us go. If I was in church, I said, let's go deeper. Right?
Let's go deeper.
Yes. To the masses, and so that when we say there is a relationship between Malawi and Zimbabwe, people should be able to say, oh, no, I understand that.
Yes, can relate with.
Yeah.
I think, Ambassador, you've just touched on an issue that was going to be the very next point for me.
Yeah.
What is the value I like what the presidents of our two countries have already done, tasking you and the Zimbabwean ambassador to Malawi to come up with concrete measures on how we can then begin to see, more economic activity between the two countries. What is the value of trade right now between the two countries?
I think the value for the two countries, I will talk about Malawi. I will start with a statement that it's undervalued.
Undervalued.
It's $60 million annually.
60 million in terms of imports from Zimbabwe? Or
No,
in terms
imports
of exports?
from Malawi. Malawi
Imports into Zimbabwe.
Okay. Yeah. So as I always say, that there is a lot of unregulated trade going on between, especially on agro products.
Okay.
If we are able to, properly manage this, I think that number can go definitely up. If I may be like a police officer for economic issues, and I stand at Nyamapanda border and count the number of bags of rice, Malawian rice that are coming in, it's going to be more.
It's very nice,
yes,
the rice, by the way, Your Excellency.
Thank you so much. And then you talk about other
Zimbabwe.
products, and also the products that are moving from Zimbabwe to Malawi. I was very grateful. I met the state minister at one of the, for East Mashonaland, who shared quite a brilliant idea. She's a lady, and she was like, she's planning actually to get like 3 or 4 buses, go to Malawi, and the first day, scan through what is it that we can take, buy, and then bring them here, because we are enjoying the free trade area under COMESA, which says that you can bring into Zimbabwe, that is from Malawi, at least the $3,000 worth of materials.
$3,000 US.
US.
I think it's a brilliant opportunity. I think for the youths out there, our mothers, our sisters out there. There is an opportunity. You can bring 3,000 worth of US dollars stuff from Malawi into Zimbabwe duty-free. We can take advantage of that. Now, Ambassador, as we wrap up, what products can we focus on in terms of export?
I think there are a lot of opportunities, because Malawi and Zimbabwe, as I indicated, they are brothers and sisters. There used to be a lot of Zimbabwean products in the agro industry, the chemicals. I remember pharmacies, things like that. I think those are still, required in Malawi. Maybe it could be more of technical, because you can also export human capital.
Oh, yes.
And I'm very grateful that the Malawi government and Zimbabwe government has got a project where Zimbabwe is providing technical capacity development for a Malawi company, which is more or less like run together. So that is also another area.
Excellent.
I also needed to mention this, which is going to be a surprise to many. We know we have a lot of fish, the jumbo, which is very popular. But there was a lot of fish, coming from Malawi coming here. But now the situation is a little bit slightly changing because of the Lake Harvest project. When I was talking with them, they're actually sending about 20 to 30 tons of fish just for Lilongwe only.
Is it?
In a week.
That's huge.
So that is also another area. And so when we see that this fishery industry is developed, I think that is another area, which simply shows that our population is growing, and the fish is part and parcel of our
the food
dish in Malawi.
Like
so that is also another area that I think Zimbabwe would also look into. And also I think the issue of mining, because I think most of the Zimbabweans have got a lot of experience in mining. Because why we are a lot of Malawians here was because they were coming here to work in the mines, to work in the farms. So there are a lot of opportunities in Malawi in terms of mining. So this is also another area that I think Zimbabweans would be able to look at. The current administration is looking at coming up with mega farms.
Okay.
So I know Zimbabwean farmers this is another area that they would go and partner with the Malawians and work with the Malawi, where fortunately there are structures that the president has initiated. One of it is the Presidential Development Unit, So, which is looking at the investors, and the Green Belt Initiative in Malawi is also looking at how best we can increase productivity in agriculture.
Your Excellency, I think we have to stop here.
Thank you.
Very exciting discussion that we are having here, and a lot of key issues that you have brought to the fore that I think my brothers and sisters watching will be so excited about. So, viewers, there we go. That was His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Mwayiwawo, Polepole. We started by looking at his personal profile, his career, very exciting. We then looked at the economic situation in Malawi, and right at the end we were now looking at the trade and bilateral relations between Zimbabwe and Malawi. And I'm really excited about the opportunities that he highlighted, the tax holidays for between 5 and 10 years, land being given by government, and they are creating mega farms. For those of us that might be interested in investing in agriculture, there are still export opportunities for us in Malawi in terms of agriculture, in terms of pharmaceutical products, in terms of also the fishing industry and the mining industry. Really exciting. We have come to the end of our program today. Very informative and insightful, and we look forward to having you in the next episode.